Hey there, my name is Dylan Anderson. I'm a solution engineer here at Salesforce, and I'm sure recently you've heard a lot about Headless 360. It's got a lot of people excited, which is awesome. But what is Headless 360? Well, simply put, Headless 360 is our way of saying, hey, Salesforce is open, right? We have an API, we have an MCP, we've got a CLI, all industry leading. And any agent that you choose, whether you create an agent, whether you use one of the frontier agents out on the market, you can access Salesforce data and do some pretty cool stuff. But what else can you do besides just querying Salesforce? I want to show you that today in just a few minutes and show you some tools that you're probably already familiar with. So let's get into it. So Headless 360. I'm going to start in Claude here. And in Claude, I actually have my MCP server hooked up to Salesforce with Gmail, Google Calendar. And as a seller, I'm asking, hey, I need some help here. I'm trying to sell into this account. I've got a low score here. Relationship score is not very good. And Claude's going to do what Claude does and give me some information and try to gather. But I don't have time for this. It doesn't realize that I'm actually asking about Salesforce data. I need to go and edit this prompt and say, go search Salesforce for this. I could also add some skills to make this really easy, but I don't want to go that far. What should I do? Well, my next thought goes to, you know what? Let me create something with Claude Code inside of Salesforce. So on the left here, I have Claude Code going and building an account analysis app. I'm telling it exactly how I want it styled, and I'm telling it exactly what I want it to do. On the right side, it's going to go query the org for this City of Irvine account because Claude Code is directly connected to Salesforce via the command line interface. And so you see there, it's pulling some recent activity. It's working a lot faster than Claude Desktop. And that's because Claude Code knows that I need to get that information from the CLI. And so I have these two agents working in tandem, and I should get a pretty good response here on the right in just a moment. But the key takeaway is on Claude Desktop, there's a lot of cool stuff you can do, but you can also do that here on Claude Code. Now, this is a really cool response. I see the opportunities that are coming back. I see some of the cases that are open. We've got a high priority case that's still in progress, not great. And I've got a TLDR, right? Small footprint customer. We've got some active opportunities and there's a high priority case. On the left side, Claude Code is saying, hey, I know what you want. Do you want me to go ahead and build this? Well, to save us time, I actually had it go and build this app so that I can understand my customer a little bit more. So let's jump into the account analysis app that Claude created for me. So I'm back in Salesforce, and I know with Headless 360, you don't need to log into Salesforce, but there are a lot of folks who still need to get into Salesforce because there is value in getting into Salesforce. Let's show you exactly what I mean. So I'm going to go to City of Irvine here, and I'm going to type in that account. And Claude has built this Lightning Web Component application for me. I've got this beautiful loading interface. It's walking through and finding out the relationship of the account, as well as doing research on the web to find out what's going on with this account. So I see we're not doing too well. We're kind of at risk, as I thought. I can see some engagements with the account. I have these beautiful tooltips with all the styling that Salesforce is known for. And so I see the key insights, I see some recommended actions, and that's helpful, but it's not up to date. On the right side, I can see that recent account research coming from the internet. So I can see all the information on the city council. I can see some of the most recent news from this month of May 2026, which as a city, there's a lot of news coming out. But how do I make sense of the news as a seller? Well, I have actionable sales insights. It's telling me, hey, based on this news, you should probably reach out to Public Works and Sustainability. They could probably use our software Civic Pulse. Secondly, it says, hey, the city's promoting public safety. That's what we sell at Civic Pulse. So let's go ahead and engage with them. So from here, I can send this directly to Slack. I can also click a button and have Google search help me out and find some more information on the news at City of Irvine. And back in Salesforce, I can even save this to the record with one click. Pretty cool. But what if I don't want to be in the UI? Well, I don't have to be. I could be in Slack. Where Slack, I have an account channel pulled up where seems like Jennifer is asking, hey, are we set to go for this implementation? Seems like there's some questions around that, especially with the open case. But I have Slackbot here right with me. And Slackbot is directly connected to Salesforce. I don't need to tell it a specific prompt. It knows that I'm talking about City of Irvine. And actually, if you look underneath here, it shows ask anything about City of Irvine, so it knows what I want to talk about. But to save us some time here, let's take a look at a previous query I sent to Slackbot. I said that same thing that I said to Claude, and I said, hey, I'm struggling to sell here. Please help me figure out what to do next. And you see it knows exactly what to do. It knows to go query Salesforce. It knows to go search Slack for all the information, and it knows to go figure out what's happening with this account. And so you can see here, it's telling me I've got these two big stalled deals, which were contributing to that really low relationship score. I've got 0 emails in 90 days. That's not good. You can see that Public Works deal is still in negotiation. I can see the key contacts. I can even see recommended next steps. And the good news is it's already telling me I've got to close one deal. But here's where Slack gets really interesting. Again, I might have to go back to the Salesforce UI to see information on the opportunity. But I can actually click here and get a full inline view of my opportunity, and not just high level, but I can actually see all the fields. And so because my close date's in the past, I really need to update that. Let's go ahead and change it with just a couple clicks. And so the nice thing here is we're actually getting all of that done right from Slack. I don't have to go to Salesforce. This is the power of Headless 360 in action. And I think the big takeaway here is this is not just helpful, but it can actually do a lot more. Let me show you. I can actually have it go search the web and find the latest news on City of Irvine. And I get a little bit different response because it's taking that latest news and pitting it towards all that information. I can see more details about really what it thinks I should do. I can see all of those contacts and all of that recent activity that's going on with that contact without ever having to go back into Salesforce. So if you have Slack with Slackbot and Salesforce account channels and Salesforce records in Slack, I can really do anything. But if I didn't have Slack and I wanted to get stuff done in the UI, I can use Claude Code, Claude Desktop, or whatever agent I want to do to create really rich apps that work best for me and my business. And as a last thing I wanted to show you, we also announced React support natively in Salesforce. That means that you can use the modern web framework React to host your app within Salesforce. No API, no MCP, no fuddling around with any of that stuff. Let me show you how it works. So I have a React app here that's really rich. It's tailored for myself as a seller. And I can see high level the information that's really important to me. I can see this beautiful news feed of stories that I might want to dig into. Looks like Civic Pulse, the follow-ups aren't doing so good. And I have this really rich UI. I can actually go in here and see, I would love to get a follow-up drafted to the account. I have a chat here and I can actually choose the model. I can choose Gemini, I could choose GPT 5.5, I can even choose Claude Opus 4.7. I'm going to choose Gemini 3 Flash and I'm going to go ahead and get a follow-up drafted to this particular account. And this is where Headless 360 really shows its power. I'm not in Salesforce as you think of it, but this React app was coded with Claude Code, accessing Salesforce data at scale. I know this is a lot, and hopefully you got to enjoy what we showed you today. Headless 360 is here. You can use it if you have Enterprise Edition or higher. Let me know if you have any questions. I'd love to show you how all of this was done. Thanks for watching.